Thorpe from the USA. On the right, it's Chris Melling from Great Britain.
Yeah, we should see some fireworks here. And again, both guys that are trying to, you know, make some noise in these big events. Billy just back on the scene now, a couple months. Chris, who's been putting in that time. Does play other games, of course, but he knows he wants one of these big 9-ball titles. Did win the Derby. I believe the China Open as well. We're going to see a variety of stuff here in this match, Phil, or at least I expect that.
Well, this is no criticism of Chris Melling, who I got on really well with. I think, considering his cue action, for me sometimes he underperforms. At his best, he looks so competent. In the first round, he beat Samuel Disser from the USA 9-1. Billy Thorpe came through 9-3 against Jason Robichaud. But as we alluded to at the time, he was 3-1 down, so he won the last 8 racks. Melling, though, I think played the more dominant pool because he broke and ran 5 times in his first outing.
Billy reminded me of Wolverine a little bit with the hair. But definitely a guy, even during the lag, I saw the chest going. He really gets into these matches. So one thing for Billy he's got to do that we always talk about, you know, is just getting a little calmer. And mainly calmer prior to getting down on the ball. You know, that has a big effect on what happens when you do swing the cue. And I think what you're talking about with Chris sometimes, you know, nerves have gotten him in a few situations here and there. Because he wants it so bad, you know. You saw that, I think, this year in the World Cup when he played with Imran. You know, he was kind of the leader of that team, but you could see that he was really taking to heart every shot, whether good or bad. Doesn't waste much time. He needs to just draw this back a little past the side. He won't come all the way back. No reason to. Yeah, just like that. And the thing what players don't realize, especially ones that do have, oh, that's way short here, is when you walk around the table faster, you get the heart going a little faster, which really doesn't do you any favors in these big kind of nervy moments. Now he's going to go to the extension.
And this is the kind of situation that's fine now, but come the 30-second shot clock introduction, he won't be able to have this luxury.
And that will be in the final 64. Okay, a lot of speed control. Don't expect a miss. Looks like he's going to get enough bounce to make the 8 easy enough. Just got to pay attention to it.
He is such a good cueist, Chris Melling, and he has been for quite some time. 43 years of age now, and you get the feeling if he plays his best, he's another player, much like Jesus Atencio, who could really make people sit up and take notice here.
Yeah, winning that lag, a successful break, and a nice safety. Didn't reward ball in hand, but rewarded a shot to get started, and then a nice clearance.
What a versatile cue sports exponent he's been as well. He's played on the main World Snooker Tour as a professional. Lots of success in English 8-ball, and as you mentioned before, Jeremy, in 9-ball as well.
And it's, you know, with all that experience and just knowing Chris, he doesn't fear any player at all. It's just a matter of, you know, dealing with himself more than anything. And That's what most of the top guys are about. Open hand bridge break. You don't see that very often. Nearing a scratch in the side.
I think you're right about the fact he's fallen victim to nervousness. That's the only possible explanation for me. Although he has coped tremendously well on the big occasion. Let's not forget that he was the MVP in the Mosconi Cup 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have some players sometimes that play at a certain pace and really are aggressive, of course. And look at this shot. That one, wow, that shows you he's pretty comfortable attacking there with the drag stroke on such a thin cut with the ball out in the middle of the table. A lot of times you use the drag where you can use the side rail to slide the ball in a little bit. I thought he may rip at that with a little draw stroke and just take a little chances with the cue ball. Now Billy Thorpe should get an easy early winner on a 4-9 of some sort. And he's moved this quite a bit. Now is this going to get over the 5? No. Now he'd rather be in position to play the kiss shot, but the combo's not tough. I played Billy at the Texas State Open just a couple months ago and played a solid match. Really, truth be known, he should have won it. Yeah, I got lucky to win Hill, but I really liked what I saw with his cue ball and his demeanor around the table. Talked to Billy and he says he really missed not playing there for a few months. He's gotten a little thin here, so I think the combination is something he'll make. Just make sure he takes care of the cue ball.
Yes, he's a pool player through and through, isn't he, Billy? Real shot maker. Billy the banker, they call him. And the 4-9 there was always going to find its target. And so Chris Melling took on, I thought, a rather ambitious, slowly rolled 2-ball. Left it in the jaws. And from there, Thorpe equalised.
Yeah, and Chris's defense, you know, he likes that shot, the drag shot. But like I said, it's a little more difficult when you can't use the side rail for the object ball. And now a 1-1 score.
More results for you in winner round 1. We know the opponent now of Carlo Biardo in the winners qualification round on Wednesday. It will be Jovan Bustamante, who has sent Elliot Sanderson to the 1-loss side with a 9-3 victory. Ralph Souquet, just a few moments ago, completed a 9-3 win over Yamal Usi. And Kopin Yi had his struggles, but he beat Matt Kra 9-6.
Looking at it, oh, cue ball's going to get lost here. Ball in hand for Chris, and again, you want that cue ball zigzagging above the 9 a little bit. And Billy's another guy that usually figures out the break, always an asset. But looking at your scores there, I saw a match that I wasn't aware of. It's going to happen later today. Jason Shaw versus Josh Roberts. Should be some fireworks there.
In the past, of course, there has been fireworks when Billy Thorpe has played. He's been involved in some controversy in his career, but he's a very colourful character who absolutely loves the game.
Yeah, Billy is the ultimate fighter on the pool table. It actually starts before the match. Oh my. And this is where, when you have a miss like that, you know, you have a miss like that in the opening match against someone you're a huge favorite, you can really set it aside a little easier. But if Billy happens to tax him a bit here, we'll see what Chris does with his next time at the table.
Well, he missed the 2-ball into that pocket in the previous rack, but the tariff on the 2-ball was much higher than the ball he just missed.
Yeah, and he played another drag stroke on that ball. And, you know, a drag stroke is a great asset, especially on the slick table. I think Ralph Souquet kind of made his living with the drag stroke, to be honest with you, and shoots it 2-3 times a game, it seemed, in his heyday. But now he's going to have to take a bit of a shot on the 9. Didn't get that great here. Ooh, he took a chance on a miss there, trying to really get better on the 9. But you can almost see how Billy's got to calm himself down. Really gets intense.
It's almost as if sometimes he wanted a little too much. He was 1-0 down, but thanks to a couple of Chris Melling mistakes, Billy Thorpe now leads 2-1. And this is a match that will not disappoint.
Yeah, he's got to think about that last break. There was no kiss when it came to that scratch. So did make the one on the side, which was the objective, but again, maybe hit a little higher on the cue ball than he wanted, because it definitely didn't draw across. It kind of just stunned across and then fell below and scratched. And Billy, I think that time away from the game a little bit made him realize how much he really truly does love it. And he's really where he wants to be.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
That's more of what he's looking for on the cue ball. Got a bad kiss there. It looked like the 2 was going to open up, but maybe has a sliver here, but nothing you're going to shoot at. So difficult rollout. Ball's a little jumbled up here with the 5 and the 7. So that's where, of course, you don't want to open that up. You want things to be difficult anytime you're in a rollout situation, but let me roll out to the upper right, the lower right corner here with the cue ball where he's standing right now. But what I was getting at is, don't want to open that congestion up, but that congestion makes it easier for your opponent to come in and play safe behind this push. So he's going to move the 5. He doesn't want it to be so easy to play the cue ball. Well, he's going to try and tie it up even more.
Just talking about the structure of the day, I can tell you that all round 1 matches in the half of the draw we've got on today, they've now been played. So it's either the loser's side matches or winner round 1 going on. This is the latter.
And that's another reason why Billy tied the 5 up even more so, because you know you're taking the worst of it and you have to roll out. So like other sports, anytime you have the worst of it, you're trying to lengthen the game. Pretty easy 2-rail kick here. I don't think I come underneath this one. I know that seems like the play, but I think I come across it and try and bring the cue ball down near the 8. Oh, he's missed it. How often we see that kick missed, and he's going to open the 5 up. So 3 or 4 things went wrong for him there on that shot, Phil.
Yeah, that was the old WCS worst case scenario.
Yeah, and the players, again, now Billy hasn't been on the slick table in a while, but the players seem to forget, or it takes them a few of those kicks to realize the second rail just doesn't grab that English. So you have to make the adjustment with your aim. And after a big mistake in the last rack, Chris Melling gets back and gets back offensively.
Yes, and if Melling doesn't draw level here, he's only got himself to blame. This should be just joining the dots.
Got to pay attention a little bit, though, because the 8 didn't pass the 9, so he couldn't handle a ton of angle on the 7. That's why he went and looked. Made sure trying to stay pretty heavy.
I think it's fair to say a match that's already living up to expectations. We thought it would be tight, and you can't get tighter than 2-2. Chris Melling missed a couple of balls in racks 2 and 3. A 2-ball and a 5-ball that cost him, but he didn't miss there. So Alex Pagulian over on table 24, 7-4 up on Dang Than Kien from Vietnam. Robbie Capito, he's 4-0 up on Marco Schutter from Holland. Max Lechner on the hill against Alain Roland, 8-4. Daniel Guttenberg, also from Austria, just starting out against Badr Alawadi. Guttenberg leads 2-1. And Jonas Suter Camino from Spain, another fine talent. He's on the hill against Rainer Lahr of Estonia at 8-1. Wojciech Szewczyk beat Jason Theron 9-0.
Yeah, and Robbie Capito, like you said, up 4-0 on Tucher, but Robbie with his, might be his biggest win yet here recently. Super great talent, originally from the Philippines, but represents and resides in Hong Kong.
Yes, I was in the queue next to Robbie when we checked in the hotel yesterday, and he's quite a linguist, he speaks very good English, of course, Tagalog, because he's from a Filipino background, and Mandarin as well.
Right. Okay, roll out to the end rail here. I don't think Chris will pass this. The 8's a big ball. The 5 and the 2, you're kind of going that direction with the cue ball, but the 8's the big helper here to where you can kind of move the 1 towards the 6. Wow, I can't believe he's really passing this. I know there's some gaps there, but I usually like to take this shot on. I mean, the camera can certainly fool me, but it looks like just a nice heavy hit here and just kind of float the cue ball forward. Like I said, the 8's a big ball. Oh, he rubbed the 5. Huge mistake there. And the thing, he was trying to get the most out of it. That's why he tried to get into the 5. And instead of just understanding percentages, we're on his side. And now he may have to play safe here, trying to get Billy on 2 fouls. One thing to be able to make the 1, but can he get to the 2? Yeah, I think he's got to play the safety here, I believe, unless he's going to try and cut this in, which he is. He's going to try and cut it in. Looks like Greg Hogue and Pia Filler are about to kick it off. Greg Hogue, a guy that does have some Mosconi Cup points, did actually win a ranking event here in the U.S. at the Sandcastle just months ago. Oh, what a talent Chris Melling is. He made that look easy.
He frustrates me immensely, Chris Melling, because you watch him play, and when he's flowing, he looks $1 million, doesn't he? The cue action is as smooth as silk. He delivers it with such authority.
And I was looking at it earlier. It actually looks better to me, and I'll say that because I don't see that huge pause in the back. There is a slight pause in the back, but I like it to when the players don't have they really hang on to it. I think when nerves get high, that can hold you back a little bit. And now I see with Chris a very, very light pause in the back, which I think is an improvement. I don't know if it's a conscious one or not, but I would have to guess so. Falling a little awkwardly straight, so he'll probably screw this ball back for the 8 in the side. Catching the point actually didn't hurt him. That way he can attack on the cue ball. He can make up for whatever so-so angle he has here. Delgado now in action, it looks like, against Hahn, or at least soon. Delgado, who made some noise at the European Open, semifinalist.
Yeah, it's one of those days where you don't know where to look. Chris Melling knew where to look down the line of his cue as he knocked in all of those balls. And he has regained the lead. He was 1-0 ahead, fell behind. Now, though, Melling leads 3-2. He's had a really good career, Chris Melling. He won the Derby City Classic 9-ball from an immense field in 2019. He's been on 3 winning Mosconi Cup teams. MVP in 2012. He landed the China Open 9-ball in 2011. And you get the feeling there might be another 1 or 2 big titles left in the tank.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those players that you may not pick as an early favorite to win, but all the top players know if he settles in, it's super dangerous, and he's not really going to fear players. He's been in that winner's circle at tough events. I'll tell you, I've commentated many of those finals at the Derby, and not many players have played better than when he played in that final. Now, Billy, I think this is a cuttable ball. The right side of the table fairly open to come up and down. Now, this is all about how you're feeling, but the ball will slide in a bit, so I kind of like him attacking. Looks like maybe he's trying to play the safety, but I like him going for this. He played it thick. He played it thick, trying to get the cue ball, I think, actually behind the 6-7 more, but now he's left an open shot.
I know a lot of our viewers in the UK also follow snooker. And when you consider Melling, in professional matches in world ranking events, he's beaten the likes of former UK champion Matthew Stevens. He's beaten Belgium's Luca Brissell and Nigel Bond as well. You know, he's very, very capable, but that was a really poor one. That's the kind of shot, the mystery shot, that he throws in now and again.
Yeah, and he didn't. Got a little out of his technique there, I thought. Chris usually has a nice little pause at the cue ball there. Just kind of two-stroked it and went. Not sure why. Big shot here for Billy, though. I know it's only 3-2, but Billy's had a couple of mistakes. Doesn't want to get Chris a whole lot of easy time at the table. Shot. Billy, the ultimate fighter, if you could call one in the pool world. Hit that ball cleanly, got the cue ball across off a small angle. Now he's got to try and manage to get down on this 3-7 combo. May have to kind of stun this a little bit to try and come down the right side of the table. Could play a kiss shot on the 7. It's not too hard. Try to use the 5 to hold the 3. Yeah, he got into it. He's not going to like this, and the short cue should be coming out. And what happens is, I don't know if you could tell like I can feel, but when you get at it, like hit at it a little bit, that English isn't going to take for you, you know, like you do when you're a little smoother with the stroke and you miss the line on the cue ball.
Yes, and as the white was coming back down the table, it was pretty clear it was going to make a full contact with the 8 and leave him in this predicament.
Watch out for the scratch in the upper left. Oh, he's hitting it super soft. Okay, trying to really contain. Nice shot. I didn't realize that was available, and a nice effort there from Billy. Now, is the spin going to take enough here? hard to get it to take enough. Oh, wow. Chris, always crafty, isn't he?
Crafty Chris, that could be his new nickname. He's known as the magician at the moment.
Okay, a little subtle swerve, maybe a rail first, gets the cue ball up above the 9 for the safety. Oh, he didn't get at it. That's almost the same thing, though. When you put a little effort there at impact, well, it's not going to grab off that rail with the spin like you think it is. I think I played the 3-5 here. Why isn't he playing the 3-5? Seems like that would make things easier, and it seems like a hanger. Should be okay, I guess.
Do world-class players like Melling and Thorpe and the like, they must at times suffer some sort of brain freeze. Obviously not here now because he's seen it, but he didn't see it for a while, did he?
Yeah, it's like you get a little tuned in on things, and I think both these guys also, that happens in matches like this early, where it's such an important match to keep the momentum going, get yourself with a day off tomorrow to try and qualify on Wednesday. He's drawing this between the 6-7, it looks like. Yeah, back out. Now, he did look at the 6 a few times. It's very tight, I suspect anyways. Anytime it's tight, you want to try and get as close to it as you can. And the thing is, when a ball's tight, you give it a good look, but then you just trust what you're seeing when you get down on the ball. It's not really, I don't think we're good enough to really measure. You just got to, like I said, trust what you're looking at. And now for a 2-game lead, our first 2-game lead.
And what has cost Thorpe so far? Twice. When he's been in the snooker, he's failed to make any kind of contact. And at this level, that is not recommended. Chris Melling, he was 2-1 behind, but he's won 3 racks in succession. Billy Thorpe has lost 3 racks on the trot, and that's why Melling leads 4-2. Arriving on the hill, a former US Open champion, Alex Pagulayan, 8-5 up on Dang Than Kien. Robbie Capito, 5-1 up on Marco Shooter. Max Lechner has beaten Alain Roland, 9-5. Janos Suter Camino, 9-1 over Reina La. The play on table 2 has slowed down slightly. Jesus Atencio still in front, though, at 6-4 against Alexander Kazakis. David Alcady has arrived on the hill against Michael Jednak at 8-1. Pia Filler, he won the, or should I say she won the first rack against Gregory Hogue. And Dennis Grabber has grabbed a 4-0 lead over BJ Usuri. Also plenty of matches going on in the first losers round. And there, I can tell you, Nicolin Dalibor, who we saw in the very first match this morning, losing heavily to defending champion Carlo Biardo. Well, the tennis coach is going to be around for a 3rd match. He's beaten Henrik Larsson 8-7.
Interesting here. I don't think he can make the 1-4 combo, and I don't know if he can make the kiss shot either. Kiss shot looks very dangerous to me. So with the 1 and the 4 so close to the pocket and near each other, I'm not sure he really has an offensive play. I think the kiss shot is makeable, but the problem is there a real future for the kiss shot. Can he get the 1, maybe a playable shot in the side? No, he could get it in easily, but now he may play the cross side bank with the 7 as cover and hold position. He's just going to lay him up on the 2, and nothing wrong with that because it's so much guarantee. And Billy has had a little bit of trouble when he's had to go at a snooker.
Yeah, Billy the banker, but not Billy the escaper in this match so far.
Yeah, normally guys that do are such great bankers, they actually kick at the ball really well usually. And Billy does. He doesn't give up ball in hand too often. Looks like he's going twice at it here. Meaning he wants to kick to both side rails before contacting the 1. Could fluke this in the right side. But it is another one when you're attacking this way, another one you could miss. Oh, he hit it just a little underneath. He's going to have to get lucky not to give up a shot. And that may have happened. Yeah, I think Chris really just has an edge on the 1 trying to play the cue ball behind the 7. This is all speed and talent here.
Yes, the white and the 1 ball in far too close a vicinity to each other to contemplate anything aggressive.
Yeah, he's looked to check the 1. So he could play it firmer and go around the 7, coming a few rails down behind the 6, trying to play the 1 up the table near the 2. But I say keep it simple myself. Yeah, just try and get the speed right to get him behind the 7.
Well, that will do the 3, undoubtedly blocking Melling's path.
Yeah, and that control there and the path of the 1 again. Billy, with all that banking experience, that doesn't hurt. Now, Chris is always looking for the perfect kick. And I understand that, you know, what would be ideal. I kick and I hit it just right and I run the ball. I think sometimes you got to look at, you know, the 2's on the top rail here. You know, I'd like to just, even if I let him see the 1, make it very difficult. At least he's got to come with a shot, basically. So I like what he's looking at here, just rolling this ball. He's trying to play the 1 to the bottom rail and put the 1 behind the 6, maybe. That's the bonus. But at least keep him off the offensive shot. Just, oh, he hit it with a little more speed, but we're going to get to maybe see that banking Billy here in a second. But imagine if you just play the speed instead of getting the 1 behind the 6 to where the cue ball just lays on the bottom rail. And, you know, you're going to have to probably kick again in your next inning if you're Chris, but at least Billy isn't running out. Big favorite here.
Billy the banker, money in the bank on that kind of, what was for him, elementary shot.
It's actually not the worst thing for Billy, especially when it's one that he's not hitting with a lot of speed. It can almost calm him down at times when he gets to play a nice subtle bank, little control. May kind of bleed on to other shots, believe it or not.
After a succession of lopsided outcomes on table 1 today, this is a real match. Billy Thorpe back within 1. Chris Melling's lead reduced to 4-3. So if you're just joining us, welcome everyone. Wherever you might be watching around the world, it is day 1 of the biggest individual pool event in Nineball, the US Open. We're at the Harrah's Resort and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's a lovely day outside, unbroken sunshine, clear blue skies. But we're indoors and happy to be, because all of the best pool players in the world have convened here, looking for a title that makes a career.
He's made the corner ball. He missed the 1, elevated over the 5 though, so that's going to slow Billy down. I think the 2 does play by the 8 if he wanted to attack here, and it's hard not to, really. It's hard not to take on this shot, even though, you know, if you remove the 5, he becomes a huge favorite to pocket the 1. But now, with this much distance, I would say it's about 50-50. Oh, he's trying to bank it away and play the cue ball underneath the 2-8. Pretty smart shot here. Yeah, caught a little full, plus the 1, caught the 7. Left nothing easy though. Chris surveying how much pocket he has for the 1, and he doesn't elect to attack, which I understand. If he doesn't, it doesn't look anything nice to me. But the safety is just as difficult to me. This is brutal.
One more streaming match to come here on table 1 today at the conclusion of this, and it will be another cracking contest between GB and the USA. Jason Shaw against Josh Roberts. You'll be interested in that one, Jeremy, like you're interested in this one. Yeah. Oh, as the 1 goes in.
Well, a bit of a fluke there, but he was playing all cue ball because he was in such a bad spot, Chris was, that he figured, why not attack at the half a pocket on the 1, bring the cue ball back for an element of a safety, and you never know. You know, when you stay aggressive, sometimes even when you're off, good things happen. Now he is super thin on the 2 here, but I think he does have a pocket. I'm just not sure if he can play it. Where it stops, nobody knows. But again, with such an open center of the table, you figured probably to come away with some type of shot on the 4. He's still not out of the woods. The 7's a big ball. He doesn't have a great angle on the 4. He's got enough angle, but I mean, do you come 2 rails to stay above for the 5? You cut the 5 somewhat from the center-ish of the table. You know, I like him following 2 rails at the 7 myself. Instead of pulling the ball trying to get to the 3rd rail, I like him coming 2 rails right at the 7 and use just a good speed and a good line. Yeah, he's coming inside of those two, and I don't know if the 9's going to hurt him or not. Oh, he's just floated into position. Similar to what I was talking about, though. Take away that third left side rail, and, you know, if you don't get shape, at least you're not going to be snookered. Which you know Chris very well. You've watched him so much. Still looks a little nervous to me. I don't know what your opinion there is, Phil, but...
Definitely, and the point is, he shouldn't be, because he's got all the shots. He just played two superb positional shots there. One with running side, the other to float around onto this 7-ball. He's got all of the ammunition. He just needs to be able to deliver and believe in himself.
Well, I think he has a lot of belief in himself. I really do on that part, but you know, sometimes you have to figure out ways to calm yourself down. You know, playing at a faster pace, I don't think that's going to get it. Not saying he'll ever be a slow player, but maybe just a couple extra seconds on the routine shots.
Well, what we know here, he's a little more than halfway to what would be a confidence-boosting victory. He leads 5-3 now. On table 2, Jesus Atencio from Venezuela is on the hill against Alexander Kazakis at 8-4. Let's just quickly go over there and see whether he's got a chance here to wrap things up. Well, clearly not.
Well, I don't know. I think Federer's the best at the jump cue when the pressure's on. I think he's a close second.
Wow, talk about being proved wrong there. Jesus going airborne. We'll keep you right up to date. Now, though, back to Melling.
He's missed the one on the side. Don't think he's going to get anything else down, and Billy Thorpe's going to have a pretty wired combination on a 1-4 to get started, trailing by 2 games. Watch out, 3-ball. This is a big mistake at the wrong moment. And I don't know if he was trying to cross the 3 or not. That would have been a little much for me. I think just coming off that second rail mildly. Of course, hindsight's 20/20, but you know, if you're trying to cross that 3, it's a big ball. A little hard luck to land there, but. And now what do? A lot of times you want to slow roll this kick because the 5's there. You can get on top of the 1 and not give up a shot. Oh, he went to the side rail. That was surprising to me. I thought he would just go 1 rail at it.
And now that is 3 times he's been hooked and 3 times he has failed to escape. There have been successful kicks, yes, but that's the 3rd failed kick.
Yeah, and sometimes the players, especially if things aren't going their way as much as they want, they'll take on a kick shot and say, well, let me just see what happens with it. Instead of getting a little more detailed, not saying you want to get over detailed because hitting the ball is the most important, but kind of my point is when you get a little more detailed, you just get a little more accurate.
And we just saw the stat there. Thorpe responsible for committing 5 fouls. It's something you simply can't afford to do.
Yeah, and probably lucky it's only 5-3 if you look at that stat. Well, now it's about to be 6-3 most likely, but. Okay, he doesn't have to draw above the 8 if he doesn't want. A little choice here. He can just roll forward or just screw the cue ball up above a little bit. And I wonder, you know, Chris has a lot of good friends out on tour, and I wonder if any of, you know, his counterparts and friends, guys he's played some World Cup team matches with, have ever talked to him about maybe slowing down just a hair.
The thing is with Melling, he's definitely got the style, and at certain points in his career, he's had the substance. But can he repeat those wins in the China Open and the Derby City Classic here at the US Open? Why not? Why not? He's got the capabilities of going all the way. And then, of course, he would perhaps be in line for Mosconi Cup recall. That's the thing, though, Jeremy. And we'll have this discussion in various guises as the week goes on. The Europeans have got such a massive pool of talent, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still believe America has more talent. We just haven't really, what's the right word, developed it yet. And you know, I think to be fair, the Euros have outworked us, and it's shown up the last, several years. And until the Americans as a whole change, that's how it's going to be. But I think it's coming, and I think the Euros have done us a great favor, kind of showing us the way in some regards, or reminding us of the way, I guess.
Well, when hostilities resume at Bally's, or it might be the Horseshoe then in the end of November, both Europe and the USA will be wanting a bucket load of breaks like that.
Yeah, it's going to be one heck of an event, and there's quite a few Americans here that are still in the mix, in my opinion, and I guess my opinion does matter quite a bit. But to be honest about it, I do believe there's some guys that have more of a chance than some people give them credit, and we'll see how the points play out. There's going to be drama on both sides. We can expect that come Wednesday or Thursday, certainly Friday and Saturday.
I think my opinion counts a little bit. That's the most understated sentence of the week, and we're only on day one. It counts for everything, Jeremy. You're the man.
Yeah, I just, I guess a little fumble with the words there, but you know what I'm getting at. And
Texan humility, that's what it was.
yeah, maybe. But the thing that to get back to Chris Melling, and not to change the subject so obviously anyways, but he knows that even like here, even there, prime example, he knows mistakes cannot be handled at this level anymore to really win the event. It's one thing to get a showing, but he's trying to win. And so that one or two mistakes can kick you out of the tournament quickly.
Well, the only good thing about his positional shot on the 8, at least he redeemed it with a tremendous pot. And the 9 is in as well. Chris Melling, the Yorkshireman, he's taking control of this match. He now leads Billy Thorpe 7-3, and bear in mind, after Melling missed a 2-ball in the second rack, a 5-ball in the third, he was 2-1 down. Now he's 2 frames away from victory and reaching that winners qualification round here on Wednesday. You see, the winner gets through this and they have tomorrow off.
Yeah, we'll have another half of the field come through tomorrow, the new scheduling by Matchroom. It's been great, I think.
Also great, the performance of Jesus Atencio. We saw a small portion of it against Alexander Kazakis. Well, I can tell you, Atencio, the Venezuelan, has defeated Kazakis 9-4.
Well, and that last mistake from Billy. Oh, the 8 hung. I thought it fell. I was going to say, is giving a lot of shots in a 7-3 lead. I thought it was going to get extended here, but the 8 hung. Thought it fell, and Billy Thorpe back to the table. He's got to have it now, Phil, if he's going to make some noise here in this match. Looks like the 1 passes the 6. It could be tight. Okay, does he just lay up for the cut shot, just get in between the 5 and the 6, take a little thin shot on the 3? Needs an angle anyways. Come back for the 4. gotten a little thinner than he wanted here. I don't know if he can play this with outside English, that being right English. If he's got to play it with left, he's got to be a little concerned of the squirt of the cue ball. If he catches rail first here, he could have a problem. And he kind of let up on the follow through, didn't quite deflect the ball enough, and now got into the 3 thickly. I wonder if Chris goes for this bank, man. This is a hard bank for the top players to pass up on. Watch the cue barely go through the cue ball. So there's always an amount of deflection we're depending on. We're always talking about reducing deflection, but when you play side spin, you expect a little deflection, and there he didn't get any. Now is he going to go for this bank? He's just, these players feel like this is just a hanger to them. It's just hard for him to pass on it.
In cleanly. Now look at this table. In around a minute's time, Mr. Melling should be standing on the hill.
A little short of his mark here, and the problem with that is he going to try and pocket both these balls, I guess? I was going to say I'd rather roll this ball in lightly, but now he's going away from it a little bit. Didn't make them both. He's okay. I wouldn't want to come up the right side of the table here. This is awkward on your room table. That's different. I would probably pull this ball around the 9 to play the 6 in the upper right. Oh, he drew it out of there, and that's a smart play as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing we always talk about with Chris Melling. He's got plenty of cue power. Cue power to burn.
Yeah, he'll catch the rail he's cueing from.
But this is now serious trouble for Billy Thorpe, and the reason Chris Melling has arrived on the hill at 8-3. One more required to go into winners qualification here at Harrah's Resort and Casino on Wednesday. So what about other round 1 winners side scores? Alex Paguline on the hill against Dang Thian Kian of Vietnam, 8-6. Robbie Capito going nicely against Marco Schutter, 7-3 there. Daniel Guttenberg from Austria, he's 5-3 up on Badr Alawadi. And Gregory Hogue now leads Pierre Filler 3-2. It was 3-1. Filler's just won rack 5 as Melling gets the 1 ball down. Can he complete victory here?
Well, it doesn't appear anything offensive. It's got a nasty 3-7 that's kind of over the template. I don't think you would usually roll out from this situation at all. This is the type of shot he may cue this with some bottom and bank the 2 away, trying to slide the cue ball over. He could run it with top right off of our left side of the 2, trying to use the 9. A few gaps here, though. Wow, what a thin hit that was. Not going to get the entire result he wanted, but
I'm a great advocate for the winner breaks format, and this is one of the reasons why. Yes, Chris Melling, 8-3 up, 5 up with 6 to play, but if Thorpe could win this rack, get the break and find something, the fight back is possible.
Yeah, this isn't going to be what he wanted, and he's trying to put the 2 a little bit more towards the 6, I believe. Not sure he has a pocket, or at least one of the lower corners for the 3. It does appear, actually, to me, the more I look at it. that possibly the 3 does pass between the 4 and 7. Yeah, that's a good camera view there. It does. Oh, he's bringing it all the way back down for the side. He's gotten pretty perfect, and he can cue the ball nicely. So gets this one down. This should send Billy Thorpe to the 1-loss side. Now Chris may have to get the extension here. I don't know if he can reach this. He's going lefty. I don't think I've ever seen Chris go lefty before.
Still some work to do, but I'll tell you what, Chris Melling has not got an easy draw if he does win this match. Next up would be David Al-Kaidi.
Well, these guys know past that first round, you really have to get fortunate if you know, even the second round to get someone you think you're a huge favorite. Even more so the third round, you expect somebody that is world class. And along with Chris and Billy both being world class.
Jeremy, you know Billy Thorpe well. You've also said he's a fighter, but this result will be tough to take. You can see him in the background there, looking really despondent.
Yeah, he's got to process it a little bit. You know, I wouldn't say Billy's going to process like a lot of guys. He'll probably get to the practice table a little more and just kind of clean things up. He's got to respond.
Chris Melling, 9, Billy Thorpe, 3, the final scoreline. And when you consider Thorpe led 2-1 and trailed only 4-3 at one point, that was a very good finish. 5 consecutive racks from Melling. The American is defeated. Melling reaches winner's qualification to take on David Al-Kaidi. And I think the stats will make much more pleasant reading for Melling than Thorpe. The one thing that sticks out there,